Guys, the Real Housewives of Potomac is winding down. I can't believe this was the second last episode of the season. We're going to have the finale and then the reunion, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know by now. Karen was a no show. But, anyways, guys, before the recap, if you haven't subscribed already, do so. I cover all things Real Housewives, Bravo, some good pop culture tea. And if you are wondering why my cheeks look so rosy, is because I have what you called blush blindness. Yes, that is a real thing. More blush, the merrier. I love it. But, anyways, we got a great recap today. I think it was a pretty great episode. With all that said, let's get into it. All right, guys, the ladies are still at Ashley's performance, and she still hasn't performed yet. And, they had the conversation outside in the last episode where Mia and Karen and all the ladies got into it when Karen basically told the girls what Ray and Gordon talked about at their cute little old man lunch. But anyways, they finally come back in and then Karen is pissed at Stacy. Karen is thinking like, what the F? Why is she not supporting me? Why is she not on my side? And we also see Wendy looking at Stacy like, Stacy, what side are you on? And the blind loyalty that Wendy has for Karen, this will come up at the very end, and it's actually going to be a big topic for the last episode, which will air next week. And I'm thinking, like, you know what? We need more women like Stacy. We don't need women just to come in and have blind loyalty. I don't like people like that in my life either. It's like, why don't you hear both sides? Why don't you go based off of principle? But anyways, that's not how everyone moves. And if you watched what Stacy was saying to Mia, she wasn't saying anything bad about Karen. Stacy just wanted to know, like, hey, all these people are saying things about you and your children. Why don't you say the truth? Why don't you tell us what's going on? She was essentially giving Mia the opportunity to take the floor and like set something straight. But you and I know Mia-Be-Lyin has been going on for so long. What's what? What's up? What's down? None of it makes sense. So I do appreciate Stacy trying to get in there and trying to give Mia the opportunity to set things straight. All right, guys, the ASHTON-a-P finally does her Drag King debut, and she did good. She did good. The ladies loved it. Karen got a special performance. Even Gizelle was like, damn, I was feeling a little something, something. So Ashley did a good job. Now, the part where I was like, oh my God, as someone watching the show, I did not think Ashley was gonna take off that blazer. I thought the pantsuit was her outfit. Like I thought that was her outfit for, going on stage. She takes off the blazer just out of nowhere, and her lady bits are all over. Her mama's on at the front in front with all the audience members. Her mama's there, is my point. I don't even have words because I'm still in shock. Her mama's there. Uncle Lump is there. Uncle Lump is just like, where the F do I look? Why is my niece out there with her tatas out? It was a lot. It could not be you. It could not be me. But Ashley and her lady lumps in front of her friends, her colleagues, random people, her mama, her Uncle Lump, it was a lot. But you know what? Good for ASHTON-a-P. Even what's her name? Her BF, the young guy, he was there as well. And apparently, because he was able to sit through it, he got a lot of brownie points. Like, Ashley does not live a traditional life. I don't think a lot of us will understand it. But if it works for her, whatever, girl, do your thing. All right, so the next day, we got Gizelle, we got Karen, we got Ashley and Kierna. They're talking about Mia, and I don't understand why it took Gizelle this long to come to terms with Mia and her lies. Gizelle now is finally coming out and saying to the girls, like, you know what, I've had enough of Mia and her lies. Really, it took you 3 seasons to finally, click that Mia-Be-Lyin. I do think with Gizelle, she's leaner on some of the women, if you know what I mean, and she's not so lean on some of the women, if you know what I mean. And it seems to be a pattern, and we're definitely going to get more into that with her spat with Stacy for the most like ridiculous things. But anyways, they move on from Mia, and poor Kierna, she's like crying and talking about Greg, how he doesn't support her. And when she's talking about Greg not supporting her on being on this platform, on being on this show. Now, he and Kierna were on Watch What Happens Live, I think like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Um, Kierna was was the guest of Watch What Happens Live, and Greg was in the audience. And point blank, Andy asked Greg, "Hey, do you support Kierna now?" And Greg was like, "Yeah, yeah, I support her." And I'm thinking, like, all these episodes, Kierna actually filmed in Greg's office, his business. He's a social worker. He has some sort of a, I don't know, he has some sort of a business where he helps out all these folks via his social work. I'm like thinking, why is Kierna highlighting his business? Like, I want to see more of Kierna's Medi Spa. Like, it's so beautiful. And I'm glad in the last episode we saw Gizelle and Wendy there. You know, we got to see the space and some of the treatments her Medi Spa offers. And it was really nice to see Gizelle, Karen, Ashley, the ladies come together and be like, you know, like you need a man that supports you. You can't be in a situation where he's half in, half out. And I really didn't like that. Guys, the clock is ticking. February, what is it? February 23rd, 2025. It's just around the corner. Has Greg proposed to Kierna yet? Because I think it was the last episode or the one before, Kierna said the man got 3 years. He hasn't proposed yet, and their 3 year mark is coming up. So there's definitely some red flags. It seems like she is compromising quite a lot, and this man Greg cannot support her being on the show. Now, I understand his concern. Greg's concern is you got on the show, you were a friend of, and you know, Kierna had that pow pow situation with Deborah Gabora Sesame Street, which is, you know, one of Ashley's raggedy friends. But you know what, Greg? Deborah Gabora Sesame Street is not on the show anymore. It's these women. And Kierna seems to get along with these women. And I think Greg constantly bringing up how he doesn't want her filming with these girls is just going to like be a reminder of what she went through to get that scar on her head. So I don't know. This man, he's given us red flags. All right. So remember how I said Gizelle is quite lenient on some of the women, and on some of the women, she will find the most minuscule, ridiculous thing on some of these women and come after them. When it comes to Stacy, why is Gizelle all up on her face saying you should have asked Karen, you should have gave Karen the heads up that you were doing this doggy fashion show and utilizing her friend Vivian? And Stacy's like, "Well, I knew Vivian before. Like, I'm friends with Vivian. Why do I have to ask permission or give a heads up to Karen?" And Wendy in her confessional is thinking the same thing. Like, I don't agree with this. And then we got Ashley over here. She's like, "Yeah, you know, Stacy should have given Karen the heads up." I'm thinking none of this makes any sense. You guys, well, when I say you guys, Gizelle and Ashley, they're just annoyed with Stacy not having blind loyalty to Karen. Like, the whole thing is absurd and it makes no sense at all. And if you think that was absurd, oh, it gets even worse. We then have Gizelle saying the most out of pocket thing I've ever heard to Stacy. "I didn't think that you were into charities." Why would Stacy not be into charities? That is so absurd to say. And then Gizelle has the gall to say, "Well, you didn't donate to GNA fashion show," or GNA, her I don't know, her charity with Ashley. And Stacy's like, "Well, you kicked me out. Why would I donate to something where I got kicked out?" Like, that literally makes no sense. And Gizelle basically just went over there to meet the girls and to meet Stacy and to tell Stacy, Yeah, I'm actually not going to be walking in this fashion show. So hold up. You are accusing Stacy of not being into charities, and now she is running a charitable event for dogs in the city. And then Gizelle is telling the girls how she got bitten by a dog and how she has PTSD. Now, the only one thing I agree with Gizelle on is Stacy should have asked the women, like, hey, I'm having this charity where all of you will be on the runway walking with one of the dogs you get assigned with. Are you guys cool? Like, let me know who's in and I'll get y'all set up. And whoever doesn't want to walk on stage, I'll just, put you in the audience. I do think Stacy should have at least asked the women as a whole if they wanted to walk on the runway with the dog. That's the one thing I'll give to Gizelle. But for Gizelle to talk about Karen, asking how Stacy should have asked for permission with Vivian, that gives me the ick. And then Gizelle saying how she has PTSD, a dog bit her. I don't know, was she just being funny or did the dog really bite her? I have no idea. The whole thing was just a shit show. See, the Osefo family keeps winning, stays winning, stays glowing. You look at Wendy, you look at Eddie, you look at their three beautiful children. They're always glistening because they got a good aura. They're focused on their family. Also, guys, when Wendy, for half this season was celebrating her 40th birthday, I was like, oh my God, Wendy just turned 40th. For some weird reason, I thought Wendy was older. And it's because she has all these accolades behind her professionally in her professional life, even with her 4 degrees, being a working mom. She has, three beautiful children. Eddie's a lawyer. He's, started his own Mary Jane business now that it's legal where they live. These two have accomplished so much, and I'm not surprised some of the women are a little, are a little envious of Dr. Wendy Osefo. But anyways, congrats to Wendy. She is on her 2nd season of the Dr. Wendy show. I've seen it on YouTube a couple times. It's very high production. I don't know if she needs that high of a production cost, but it's done very well. So Eddie gives her the news how Wendy will be able to go to the White House to interview Karine Jean-Pierre. She was the White House press secretary during the Biden administration. So this is a really big deal for Wendy, the fact that she is taking um, her talk show to the White House. And then we have some tea. The juxtaposition of what was going on was insane. We literally had, at the same time where they were showing Wendy and Eddie talk about, her show and what she wants to do with it, who she wants to take with her, in that same scene or shortly after, going back and forth, we had Stacy having lunch with Mia, and Stacy breaks it to Mia how Karen was saying all these awful things about Wendy right when she joined the show. Literally, Karen told Stacy how Wendy is completely self-absorbed. She only, I don't know, looks after herself. And I'm thinking, like, Karen, what person is not self-absorbed and looks after themselves? Like, this is like the most absurd thing. She literally has nothing tangible to say about Wendy that's awful. So she's just like making up crap and giving Stacy an impression of Wendy that doesn't even make any sense. She basically just wants Stacy's alliance going into filming this season. And Mia is shocked. She's like, "What the heck? Does like Wendy know this?" Because when it comes to Wendy and Karen, Wendy throughout the season, and the editors did a fabulous job of this. Wendy has defended Karen time and time again. Meanwhile, Karen is setting her up for failure in some ways by telling this new girl who Wendy is when that's not who Wendy is at all. Anyway, so I absolutely loved the editing of this because we got Mia and Stacy talking about Karen, talking, saying crap about Wendy. But then we got Wendy over here telling Eddie, like, you know what? I would love to take Karen with me to the White House for a full circle moment. How Karen took Wendy to Surrey County when Karen got the key to Surrey County. And I'm thinking like, okay, like let's be real here. Karen getting the key to Surrey County is like so minor compared to Wendy going to the White House to interview the speaker. Eh, Come on, let's be real. It's not even in the same lane. But the fact that Wendy is thinking about Karen and Karen is saying all this crap about Wendy, thank goodness this is going to be a hot topic in the season finale, which is next week. All right, you guys thought I wasn't going to talk about Mia. No, no, no. Mia-Be-Lyin was on Watch What Happens Live. Andy did ask her about the paternity test, and basically like why didn't you believe it? And Mia's saying like, oh, Gordon probably swabbed himself twice. Guys, this duo could not have been a better duo. We had Quad from Married to Medicine sitting in the middle between Andy and Mia-Be-Lyin. While Mia was saying whatever she was saying, Quad clocked her. She was like, nah, Mia, tell the truth. So, what did Quad clock Mia about? So, Andy asked Mia about if her and Ink are still together. Mia's like, well, he is a syndicated radio host. He doesn't think her being on this platform and basically her being on Real Housewives, it's not a good look on him. And I'm thinking, well, you are a man messing with a married woman. What part of that is a good look on you? And Quad clocks Mia like, well, you're still married. You guys were messing around this whole time. And Mia's like, I got to get a divorce first. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, girl, you were literally um, prancing around how she has a husband and a boyfriend, this entire mess. And now you're saying that you gotta like do right and then move on. There was that. And then Andy also asked Mia about the paternity test. And Mia was basically like, oh, I don't like believe in it. It was like an at-home kit. Gordon could have swabbed himself twice. Quad is just giving her a look like, are you for real? And she's like explaining to Mia, like, yeah, once you take the swab, you got to send it in. And then once you send it in, you do get legitimate results. They do all the work behind the scenes and then you get legitimate results. Quad's explaining to Mia, like, yes, you should still go to the doctor, but the results you got from the at-home test, they're real results. And even Andy and the audience and us at home watching, we're just like, Mia, come on. Like, it's enough. Enough with the lies. Guys, if you have had enough of Mia, let me know in the comments below. If you are happy, Karen is going to get clocked next episode with the crap she's been saying about Wendy. Let me know in the comments below. And overall, guys, I've actually been enjoying Potomac this entire season. Is it like the high highs like Salt Lake City? No, but sometimes I prefer that. I don't need to be on a constant high because then that causes me anxiety. I just want to like watch the show, have some good moments, have some funny moments, have some like real stuff happen to these women where they come forward and share it with us. Anyways, I got you with the recaps, not just for Potomac, Beverly Hills, Salt Lake, and some good pop culture tea. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you all next time.